film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah.
Coming after from the mean streets of St. Louis, from a basement on South Broadway, the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Because indie film sucks. Yet here we are.
Yeah. I'm Chris Mackey, actor, producer, 88mm Productions. Welcome. Appreciate it.
I'm Chris Grega, writer, director, head cook, and bottle washer. Let me extend my arms and welcome.
Nice.
And I'm Brock Roberts, actor, producer.
So we haven't done this in a while. So what's your suck, Brock?
What? Gosh, my suck is we got all these movies out there which no one's seen yet. So hopefully we can figure a way to get those movies out in the public so people can see them.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the exact same thing tonight, and I thought this would be a good topic for us to discuss tonight. Is like the suck is like I think we have this property with Red Knight that I think is going to be marketable, and I think it's going to drive some interest, which is going to drive some interest to us. But how do we take advantage of that with our old properties? Right? I think we have some good stuff with Sound of Nothing, right? That's in our genre. 35 Days is a great film that I think that can resonate with some filmmakers and some other folks and,
Yes.
and some other stuff. I mean, even Rhineland and some things that we're going to get back out of distribution. So my suck is how do you use the property that you have that you think is going to be a catalyst and reposition the old films to benefit you, right? Because I saw how at the premiere Red Night, we could have had DVDs for every single film up there. Somebody would have bought it.
Yes.
Why? Because they were at Red Night. They were feeling good. They were having a good time. They were into the whole night, and we were like their focus. And I think that's what happens at some of the cons. When you go to the conventions or you go to these film festivals and that kind of stuff, is when you have a hit, right? They're excited about Red Night. They'll come back and go, "Oh, you did this too?" So now we have these properties that aren't necessarily positioned for that. My suck is how do you get them ready to do that? What's the expense?
Let's have Grega answer that one.
Yeah, Chris, because I know we're working on it now, but I wanted to throw that out there because I think it's something where you never considered it when you were making the movie, right? Is how can this property be used later as technology changes and stuff? But now that we're where we are, how do we do that?
Yeah, if you want to talk about that being a suck, not having the proper money to properly remaster the films is kind of a suck. So, yeah, when each film was made, they were not made with the intention, like, well, further on down the line, 15 years from now, this is going to be a secondary property that's going to piggyback off our main film, right? No, we were just making movies at the time. The movie we were making at the time was the movie we were making.
Right.
And we weren't thinking about 15, 20 years later, or whatever the case may be, that this movie is not necessarily going to stand on its own merit, but it's going to work in conjunction with the newer film, right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that, other than I know that right now our main focus is releasing Red Night at Skies. That's our main focus, but we have at least 3 other films that would be Rhineland, Sound of Nothing, and 35 Days of Post-Production Odyssey, which are all films we need to essentially redo, repackage, and put out there roughly the same time that we're pushing Red Night.
Now, what do you mean by redo? Let everybody know what that means.
That's a great question because I had the same question about can't we? We already have DVDs of Rhineland. We could sell those, but it's not about DVDs, right?
It's formatting issues, really, I think.
For the new technology, which is streaming.
No, so here's the thing.
Is that what you're?
So, Rhineland was shot SD, right? It's not an HD film. It was our second to last SD film, so standard definition. So it's only going to look so good. right? It's not a 4K movie. It's not doesn't look like 35 millimeter film. It looks pretty good. It was shot on one of the first cameras that had the 24p technology, right? 24p being 24 frames per second, which is that's the frame rate of film, right? So it mimicked the look of film.
Okay.
And that was a big deal at the time. So Rhineland's only going to look as good as Rhineland's going to look. And it's probably in its best state that it's going to be in right now. So essentially what we have to do with that is make our own DVD presses of that, right? We have the film digitally. We have all of the elements to replicate the Rhineland DVD that the distributor had. We just have to put it all together, which the only thing, with that is money.
The excitement I got from people buying our old DVDs, because this all got kicked off for me, in my opinion, for this conversation, is I saw how excited they were for Red Knight, which is shot the way we want it to be shot. We know where that's going to go. That could be shown in a movie theater. That could be shown, that could be on any kind of streaming service. That film is ready to go, right? Yeah. Okay. But I look back and go, well, they had a DVD of 35 days, or we had this DVD, so we just can't go out and just produce all these DVDs, because that's one way to sell them. But if we actually wanted to put it out there on Film Hub or promote these films, we'd have to change the way we wanted to do things.
It essentially has to be remastered. 35 Days needs the audio needs to be remixed.
Okay.
The picture's fine. It'll be ready to go as soon as we have that done. Sound of Nothing, again, is in the best shape it's possibly going to be in. So Sound of Nothing, as soon as the term is up with the distributor, which is this summer, we can release it on our own platforms, and we can release physical media.
Okay. So when I say excitement about repackaging things, because I saw Stanzy. Stanzy just put out the 25-year anniversary of, what was the name
Scrapbook.
of it? Scrapbook. And holy cow, what a marketing strategy of having that, and how he worked with his distributor on that, and how they put that out, and the pre-sales they had. That was really exciting. And I thought about going, we got those films. We got these older films in our vault, if you want to say that. How do we take advantage of something that what he already did, right? And kind of make sure people know that we have other stuff besides Red Knight out there.
Well, here's the big difference. Stanzy has always been on brand from
Good point.
day one, from his very first ultra low budget films, and these I'm talking ultra low budget, Deadbound and The Dreamin'. These are movies he made in the late 80s, early 90s. And his first big film, Savage Harvest. These are, he's grown immensely since his early days, but he's always been on the exact same brand. Whereas we, 88mm Productions, me as a filmmaker, have not been always on point with the brand. And that makes it a little more tricky and difficult.
So let me stop you from the brand part of it, because Stanzy has been on brand.
Yes.
So him coming back after having some success, having a Stanzy brand, right, after doing some of the things he's done, he's going back now and taking that success or whatever he's done and going, this is the time to relaunch this, right?
Yeah.
That's how Stanzy's working it from a marketing strategy. His brand works for him.
Yes.
Okay. So from us, we look at what we've done and how we're building our brand, and we have a couple properties that we believe may work for us. We just have to reformat them, redigitize. I think that's what Rock was asking.
Remaster them.
Remaster them. Okay. To go where?
I would say
Film Hub.
some of these are going to Film Hub. I would say they're probably all going to go to Film Hub.
Okay.
But some of these are also going to DVD with us to have a physical copy right alongside the physical copy of Red Knight that we're going to have at the conventions.
Right. And I would say 3 years ago, we never considered that, right?
No, so right now we have, on our website, you can rent or buy the movie, right?
Sure, of course. Right. As it is today.
Yeah, but we want it to be a little bit more accessible to people, easier, so they don't have to go through our website, then go through is there's some hoops there.
Yeah.
We want to make it quick and easy, right? So that's why we really want to do this, so more people can see it. Now we talked a little bit about the branding or whatever. So before, a couple episodes ago, we talked about brand. Red Knight could possibly be the brand. So early on, 88 and Grega movies was a brand. Grega makes good movies. And the problem we had was there wasn't the back end of business to go along with it, right? Which is what we're dealing with right now. We're figuring out the business of the back. So I think as we go forward, letting the public know that 88 had movies before Red Knight, it can only help Red Knight, and Red Knight can only help these other movies. But obviously we're going to have to push them ourselves. Nobody's going to type in, Rhineland, or maybe they will.
No. But I think the branding and what you guys said about the branding is key to how you backfill and repurpose, or how you re-energize some of your old properties. The topic for tonight is key, because Stanzi always had that. And he told me personally that he tried it as
Wicked Pixel,
or this, and it ended up being, Stanzi's what stuck. So it didn't matter what Wicked Pixel did, it's what Stanzi stuck. And I think that's what's key to us, is finding out what that is and how you position these. Because you're right, nobody's looking for Rhineland. But they may be looking for the next Brock Roberts movie. They may be looking for the next Chris Grega movie. They may be looking for the next 88mm Productions movie. And then how do you...
That's what I prefer, because there's more movies there.
Correct. So we have to make that choice on how we take Red Knight and go and make that decision to backfill with our old properties, because I think there is a place for our old properties.
Absolutely.
I think Red Knight's given us a new energy on these old properties right?
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can say the market will dictate where we go, basically.
Right.
So, and by the market, I mean, we're going to hit the festival circuit. And the festival circuit is not going to do much at all for our old properties that I can tell, right? But we're going to go to all the festivals we get into, and, we'll bring along our crap. And if people, you got to push your crap.
You're going to say craft.
You crap, whatever you want to call it.
Business cards and DVDs,
right? Wherever you go, you got to push your stuff.
Exactly. And people are more apt to do it when they're excited about the film they just saw.
Yeah. So conventions are more the route. We'll have our table, we'll have our booth or whatever. It's going to be Red Knight heavy, but in addition to Red Knight, there'll be these other films there that people can pick up. Like, what's 35 Days? Oh, well, blah, 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 blah.
But let's flip that into, how do you market that socially, right? On social marketing, right? Do you have the Red Knight leading the charge? So we don't launch anything that we've done previous until we have a headwind, right, in a business sense.
Yeah,
right?
with Red Knight.
Right, or a tailwind, not a headwind, because headwind's
some type
bad.
of fucking wind.
Right, exactly. But a tailwind.
Until we break wind with Red Knight.
Oh, yes, exactly. But I think that's key, though, to not launching those too early until Red Knight positions itself. Do you agree or not agree with that?
No, Red Knight is the driving factor for selling the other movies.
Yep.
Yeah, to repositioning and repackaging, however you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because no one's going to give a shit about the older movies, but if they give a shit about Red Knight, then they'll be more apt to say, what else do you got?
If you have a property that can catalyst your old properties, that it all works together, right? Find your passion, find your brand, find your whatever for the young guys out there, that it all kind of works together, I guess. I don't know.
Theoretically, who the hell knows?
Nah, whatever. I mean, gosh darn it.
This is why indie film sucks.
Indie film sucks because at this end of things, there's no clear path forward. There is no one size fits all. There's no magic bullet. There's no simple answer.
But there's a formula that you can work out. I'm going to argue with here a little bit, because if there's a formula you could have worked out 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and catalyst yourself like a Stanzi did.
Yeah, but even...
Wouldn't you feel a little bit better about yourself?
No, because Eric himself has been up and down, peaks and valleys.
Right.
He's tried shit that absolutely has not worked out, and he's done other shit that has worked out. It's like you just have to keep throwing shit against the wall and see what sticks. And a lot of stuff is not going to stick.
But we're throwing more stuff against the wall that's at least within certain things that we think can stick.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good idea. If you only have one film, that's all you got to work with. If you have multiple films and even some that are of older or lesser quality still probably have some value to bring to the table.
That's a great point. And if you're trying to make it for profit, if you're having fun, who cares? Make what you want.
Yeah.
If you're just having fun and you're bringing people together to make film, which we agree with also, right?
Yeah, that's
independent film. Make independent film.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But if you're trying to make a profit or trying to drive certain things, I think you need to have a rhythm, a brand, some sort of session where, I don't know.
A plan.
I don't know. We talked about that last time. There's no
That's a
plan.
good
I mean,
idea.
that's what you're alluding to right now.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, we got plans. We just have to execute on our ideas. We're trying to get, Red Night and a couple other local theaters. And when we're there, we want to have some physical property that people can purchase. Like, which ones? Which ones are we going to have?
Game of the Year is all we currently have.
Game of the Year is coming, but we're working on other.
Yeah.
That's a marketing strategy for us because we saw the importance of how Game of the Year sold a little bit because
Yeah.
it was just another property. And Game of the Year is a mockumentary about Dungeons and Dragons people, which
It's a good movie.
personally I love that movie.
But here's the thing. Here's the important thing. Wherever you go with your movie, bring some physical media to sell. Obviously, bring the movie that you're screening, right? Because people came to see the movie and they love the movie or whatever, but they're going to buy those DVDs. But if you have other things for other movies, people are going to buy some. They're not going to buy as many, but they're going to buy some.
If you're at a festival or a con, get a table for your stuff. We made that mistake once.
Yeah.
For Sound of Nothing. When we did the Freak Fest festival?
Freak Show.
Freak Show
We
festival.
went down there unprepared
No, that's
completely.
I talked about mistakes, so
Yeah,
this
that
is-
was a mistake,
yeah.
and we didn't have a damn thing that we should have had.
No.
right. So
Hell of a good time.
no, but
suck.
We had a good time. That was about it.
But I guess to sum it up is if you have that property like a Red Knighted Skies that you're proud of, that you know is going to go places, that now you need to get, you can package, reposition, buy a table at the thing, and have that ready to go because people will buy it because they're excited about your current
Yeah,
project.
Your old projects are ancillary.
That's
you know
a
what
great
I mean?
way to put it. Yep.
So it's just money coming in if you have them ready for it for people.
Right. And good, bad, or ugly, because we love them all, but everybody doesn't love everything that we do.
Sure.
But they will pick it up.
Yes, someone will buy your crappy first film.
Yeah.
They will.
Right.
Now, hopefully it's not too crappy, but that's the idea is wherever you go, bring physical media of everything you could possibly produce.
And try to get it on to the film hubs, that kind of stuff. And that's what I think that was my point tonight is we're repackaging, repositioning to try to put as much out there that we know is not going to distribution. It's going to be self-distributed.
Yeah.
Besides Red Knight, right? That's still out there. But we're trying to reposition and self-distribute some of the stuff we have out there to go, when we go there, go, yeah, here's a physical copy of it. But guess what? You can also download it on here.
Yeah, that's essentially what we're trying to do all at the same time is when we put Red Knight out there, we're relaunching a bunch of other stuff at the same time. So people can, when people ask, oh, what else do you have? Oh, we have this, this, and this, and you can get it right here.
Yes. Thank you for summarizing the whole concept of this conversation because you nailed it. Because that's exactly what I want people to understand is when you have a new project, your old projects are still worthy, they're still viable, and in today's market, there's still a place for it to go.
Yeah. In today's market, now more than ever.
Exactly. And if Eric Stanzi can take a 25-year-old movie, reposition it, put it on a Blu-ray, and have 1,000 pre-sales on it, which it's a damn good movie, and you should go out and get it, but he can position that, then I think anybody can reposition anything they've done to consider that, for how they're trying to market in today's society.
Within limits. I mean, because you make a good point. Stanzi made a very good exploitation film.
Yes.
With Scrapbook.
Scrapbook, yes, thank you.
So, again, I think our very first feature, Amphetamine, is a pretty solid, low-budget, first-time neo-noir gangster film. Is it the best thing we've ever done? No, not even close. But it's at least passable. So you have to realistically assess your movies. I think some people would still like Amphetamine, right? But it's not a flagship movie, you know.
Right.
So I mean, if your first film has, you know, it's shot on a camera with autofocus, and you've got your your best friend and your girlfriend at the time acting in it, or whatever, you might want to say, you know, maybe this one stays in the vault.
Right. Don't waste the money on trying to put it out on the DVD.
Yeah.
Well, you could possibly think of it this way, like your previous stuff are your prequels, okay, and now you got this one here. This one may be the big, whatever it is. When a sequel comes out to something already branded, what happens to the previous movie? It gets watched again.
Yes.
You know, so you can look at it that way too.
Great point. That's a great point, and you don't make it any bigger than what it is. Hey, I have this one also, and you know what? First film. And guess what? If you make the next Saving Private Ryan, or you make the next Halloween, or you do that.
And Ryanland is probably better than Saving Private Ryan. I'm just going to put that out.
Okay. Oh, easy.
Okay.
I mean, Eli Pastalski is pretty good in that movie, but I'm not bragging or anything. No, but I was just saying is you lay amphetamine where it is, and maybe you have some, but you let people know. But if you do get that breakthrough movie, amphetamine becomes a bigger property because it's the first movie of a director or an actor that made his breakout. So you always need that stuff, and I guarantee people are excited just to see your stuff. People that are into independent films are into independent films because they love the way they're shot. They love the acting. They love that. They get it already. And
They like the grit.
why not have it available for them?
I mean, yeah, there are some people that absolutely love Rhineland for the gritty reality,
Yep.
and there are some people that completely hate Rhineland because it does not stack up to Hollywood whatsoever.
Right. And those are people that
It's
don't
still
get it.
better than Saving Private Ryan.
But I guarantee
I'm
the people
kidding.
that are going to
That's
cons
one of my favorite movies
aren't
ever.
the people that are paying $15 to go see this movie in the right. And I think that's where I was trying to tell people is position yourself for where you're at in your career, where you're at in your journey, whatever you want to call it. We're at where we have a feature film where we think is really good. It's got a lot of elements that I think are going to be successful. We need to look at our old stuff and get that positioned so when Red Knight launches and it's out there to the world, that everybody can go see back. We would be doing ourselves a disservice if we didn't have all that other stuff available for them to go try to find.
That's the plan. Do you
I agree completely.
I think I do too, Chris. And Chris,
Do you
I'm
know
right on par.
Do you know what else we're going to let people know how it goes?
Having anything to do with the highs and lows?
We're going to let people know about the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens
In-betweenies?
of true independent filmmaking.
True.
On the Indie Film Sucks podcast, brought to you by 88mm Productions. Social media, it's on there, it's out there.
I'm going to say it again. Tell a friend. Tell one, if you're listening,
Tell an enemy.
Yeah.
Tell anybody.
Tell anybody that it's a pretty good podcast.
You know what? Tell people not to listen, not to watch. Say don't fucking check this out. Don't even look at it.
Right.
Don't even look them up.
All right. Go back to listen to episode 33. That's all
Good
I'm
night.
saying. Good night. Miss you, Mom.
Indie film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah.